All right, picture this. It's freezing out. Maybe that biting wind is whipping across an icy work site. The ground's a mess, frozen mud, maybe some hidden slush, and every single step feels like a gamble. You've got a job to do, often a physically demanding one, and your body's just battling the elements head to toe. But where does that real fight, the one against the cold and the actual hazards, where does it start? Right down at your feet. Today on the deep dive, we're going to cut through all the noise. We're focusing on maybe one of the most critical pieces of winter work gear, your boots. Yeah, our mission today is to unpack the 3 best boots for outdoor winter work. We want to give you that ultimate shortcut, to being really well informed, prepared, and protected when it counts. And just a quick heads up, this deep dive into crucial winter safety, it's brought to us by the folks at Southwest Safety and Supply in Brantford, Ontario. They really know the stuff inside and out.
They absolutely do, and it's true. What's really fascinating here is that choosing the right work boot for winter, for any job where you've got risks like falling objects or crushing hazards, maybe heavy equipment rolling around, you absolutely need toe protection. And we're talking proper protection. Steel or composite toes that meet really stringent standards, like ASTM F241318. That's the American Society for Testing and Materials benchmark. It certifies a specific level of protection against impacts, things dropping and compression, things crushing.
Yeah.
Basically, your assurance that your toes are safe from, say, a dropped hammer or a rolling barrel. Simple as that. And hey, don't forget puncture resistance. Midsoles that guard against sharp stuff on the ground, nails, broken glass, scrap metal that's just as vital, protects the bottom of your foot.
Gotcha. Safety first, always.
Beyond those immediate physical dangers, we're talking about your basic warmth and health. And insulation is your first, and probably best, line of defense against cold-related problems. Proper insulation, materials like Thinsulate or maybe Gore-Tex, which are these highly efficient, low-bulk synthetic insulations that keep your feet warm and help prevent really serious conditions. And I mean serious, like frostbite, which is actual tissue damage, and hypothermia, which is a dangerously low core body temperature affecting your whole system. Yeah. And there's waterproofing. This one is absolutely essential, non-negotiable. Oh, man. Wet feet in winter. It's the absolute worst feeling, isn't it? Instantly miserable.
It's way more than miserable. Wet feet in freezing temperatures are basically a recipe for serious health risks. Beyond just feeling cold and uncomfortable, you're risking conditions like trench foot. That's where prolonged exposure to cold and wet can actually cause nerve and tissue damage. Yeah. Really nasty stuff.
For these rugged outdoor jobs, boots need to withstand truly harsh environments. We're talking mud, snow, rocks, maybe even chemicals sometimes. Plus, just the heavy, continuous use you put them through, day in, day out. High-quality materials, good construction, it means they last longer. That saves you money in the long run, sure, by preventing frequent replacements. But maybe more critically, it prevents downtime, time you can't work. And comfort and support, also paramount. Absolutely key. When you're on your feet for long hours, often on uneven, really unforgiving terrain, you need proper arch support, ample cushioning, excellent ankle stability. This stuff prevents fatigue, painful blisters, injuries like sprains, all things that can severely cut down your productivity and, actually increase your risk of having an accident.
So it's not just a fancy feature, it's actually an economic decision too, in a way. Fewer sick days, maybe? And I imagine there's a compliance angle as well. Can't just wear anything.
Precisely. Spot on.
Let's dive into the specific brands, the models that consistently rise to the top for tough outdoor winter work. We're zeroing in on 3 real powerhouses today: Keen, Timberland PRO, and Caterpillar.
Yeah, and what's neat is that each of these brands, they bring a slightly different philosophy, maybe a different approach to meeting those core winter demands we just hammered out. Which really brings up an important question for you, the listener. Which one is truly the right fit for your specific needs? You got to consider your work environment, maybe your budget, even just your personal fit preferences.
Right. Let's start with Keen then. Their name, it's almost synonymous with rugged outdoor gear, hiking boots, that sort of thing. But when we talk serious winter work, what specific innovations or design ideas do they bring? Like what makes models like the Cincinnati or the Philadelphia or maybe the Rebel 4V Polar really stand out? For instance, you mentioned Keen warm insulation earlier. What does that actually feel like on your foot in, say, sub-zero conditions? Does it impact breathability? Because that's often a trade-off, right? Warmth versus sweaty feet.
That's a great question, because Keen really does excel at balancing those very factors. Their boots feature some superior insulation technologies, like their proprietary Keen Warm. Typically, it's 200 grams of lightweight, synthetic insulation, often rated down to an impressive -25 Fahrenheit, or about -32 Celsius. It gives you excellent warmth, but crucially, without excessive bulk. So your foot doesn't feel like it's swimming in padding or getting suffocated. And importantly, they almost always incorporate Keen Dry waterproof membranes. That's their specific breathable barrier tech. It keeps water out for sure, but it also allows moisture vapor sweat from your foot to escape. So it directly addresses that breathability concern you raised. Traction is another huge plus for Keen. They usually have these really aggressive oil and slip-resistant rubber outsoles. Great grip.
Okay, warmth and dry feet, good grip. What about construction? For durability, because these boots aren't cheap, you want them to last.
Absolutely. And many of their work-focused models, like the Cincinnati and Philadelphia you mentioned, they utilize Goodyear welt construction. Now that's a traditional, really time-tested method. Basically, the upper part of the boot, the insole, and a sturdy strip of leather called the welt are all stitched together securely. Then, the outsole itself is stitched directly to that welt. What does that mean for you? It makes the boots incredibly durable. And, importantly, it often means they can be resold by a good cobbler. That can significantly extend the life of your investment. For protection, you'll typically find carbon fiber or composite toes. These offer lightweight safety, still meeting those tough ASTM F2 41318 standards. You'll also usually find puncture-resistant midsoles built in. And for comfort during those really long hours, their Love Cell midsole isn't just basic cushioning. It's honestly a bit of a game changer for all-day wear. It's an air-infused cushioning system. It really does significantly reduce foot fatigue, making those 10-hour shifts feel considerably shorter on your feet. The real insight with Keen is often how they achieve that superior comfort without adding a ton of weight or bulk, which, like you said, is often the trade-off in heavy winter boots.
Okay, that Love Cell tech sounds pretty amazing, I have to say. But what are the potential downsides? The trade-offs or things someone should consider with Keen?
Well, they are excellent boots, no doubt.
Yeah.
But they can be slightly pricier. You're often looking in the, say, 150 to 200 US dollar range, sometimes a bit more depending on the specific model and features. And while their generally wider toe box is a huge benefit for many people, allows for thicker winter socks, accommodates naturally wider feet. Some specific models might feel a bit maybe sloppy if you have particularly narrow feet. Fit is always personal.
Right, so if someone's maybe on a tighter budget or knows they have narrower feet, are they just out of luck with Keen? Or are there specific models maybe, or sizing tricks they should look for?
It's definitely worth trying on a few different Keen models if you can. Some do offer a slightly more snug fit than others within their line. And yeah, for narrower feet, sometimes investing in a really high-quality, thicker sock can help take up some of that extra volume comfortably without compromising the warmth you need. But sure, if fit or budget are really the primary drivers for you, it might be worth exploring our next option.
Okay, so from Keen's sort of specialized outdoor focus, let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk about another titan in workwear. Timberland PRO, I mean, that name alone just evokes a sense of rugged reliability, doesn't it? How does their PRO line, and specifically let's look at the Boondock 6-inch composite toe model, how does that really step up to the plate for those brutal winter conditions we've been talking about?
Yeah, Timberland PRO's Boondock series. It's specifically engineered for really rugged, heavy-duty work. The core insight with the Boondock isn't just that it's durable. It's about unparalleled workhorse longevity. We consistently hear from users that these boots stand up to maybe 2 full years of really brutal daily abuse. That makes them a true long-term investment rather than just a seasonal expense you replace every year. Feature-wise, you're getting robust waterproof leather uppers and typically 200 grams of insulation to keep you warm and dry. Plus, composite safety toes that, again, meet those crucial ASTM F2 41318 standards.
So it's not just marketing hype. It sounds like they're truly built for hard labor. What about that all-important winter traction we keep coming back to?
For traction, they often use a hybrid outsole. What that means is it might have Goodyear welt construction at the front part for durability, but then a cemented heel construction for better cushioning and flexibility back there. This whole design provides excellent slip resistance on snow and ice. It usually features a kind of hiker-style tread pattern that's pretty good at efficiently shedding mud and debris, so you're not tracking it everywhere or losing grip because the lugs are clogged. For support during those long shifts, there's usually a fiberglass shank built into the midsole. That's a stiff insert, provides rigidity and arch support, helps prevent foot fatigue over the hours, and they use dual-density foam midsoles for cushioning and comfort. Plus, another important point for many trades, these boots often include electrical hazard protection, typically rated for up to 600 volts in dry conditions. That's a critical safety feature for electricians and others.
Okay, finally, let's talk about Caterpillar, C-A-A-T. I mean, the brand is just synonymous with heavy machinery, bulldozers, that kind of thing, so you'd expect their boots to be built with that same industrial strength reliability. How do their boots, maybe like the popular second shift steel toe model, how do they actually perform in serious winter conditions? Especially maybe for those who might be watching their budget a bit more closely. Are we compromising too much safety or warmth by going with a more budget-friendly option in winter?
That's a really critical question, especially when budgets are tight.
Yeah.
Caterpillar's second shift boots, they are definitely a solid mid-tier option. You can often find them around, say, 115 USS, making them quite budget-friendly compared to some of the premium Keen or Timberland PRO models. You still get durable full-grain leather uppers, and importantly, steel toe protection that also meets those ASTM F2413-18 safety standards. So the core impact and compression protection is there. They also come with slip-resistant outsoles and typically have electrical hazard ratings as well, making them a robust choice for construction sites and other outdoor jobs. Now, while they might not be as heavily insulated as some specific Keen or Timberland PRO winter models, the second shift often has 200-gram insulation, or sometimes none. Depending on the exact version, they can handle moderate winter conditions pretty effectively. Especially, and this is key, when paired with proper high-quality winter socks.
Okay, so the potential compromise might be more on the extreme cold end of the spectrum, but they still deliver on those core safety requirements.
Yeah.
Exactly. In terms of winter-specific features, their slip-resistant outsole generally performs quite well on wet or icy surfaces. It's designed for work environments. The leather upper does offer some inherent water resistance, naturally. But it's important for you to note that these specific models, like the second shift, aren't always fully waterproof right out of the box unless the product description explicitly states it uses a waterproof membrane. So, applying a good waterproofing treatment like a spray or a wax might be a really good idea if you know you'll be in very wet, slushy conditions frequently. The main drawbacks compared to the others are, indeed, potentially less insulation for extreme cold, and they aren't usually as lightweight as Keen's composite toe options, since these are typically steel toe. Oh, and another thing to be aware of with the second shift sometimes. They can have a more significant break-in period. They might feel a bit stiff and cause some initial discomfort until that thick leather molds properly to your feet.
Right, that break-in period can be rough. So for the budget-conscious worker then, what's the trick to making a boot like the Caterpillar second shift work optimally in colder conditions? Sounds like good socks are crucial, and maybe adding a waterproofing spray.
Absolutely, those are the key strategies. Investing in high-quality merino wool socks, for instance, will make a huge difference in both insulation and moisture wicking. Keeping your feet dry from sweat is just as important as keeping external water out. And yes, a good waterproofing spray or wax, applied regularly according to the product instructions, will significantly enhance their water resistance for those really slushy wet days. It's really about smart layering inside the boot and proper maintenance on the outside.
Okay, so what does this all mean for you, the listener, as you're maybe gearing up and facing those challenging winter work days ahead?
Ultimately, the choice truly comes down to balancing your specific needs. You have to think about the intensity of the cold you typically face, the type of terrain you work on day after day, your budget considerations, of course, and even your personal fit preferences, how a boot feels on your foot.
Yeah.
You need to weigh all that against those universal requirements for safety and performance we talked about. Remember, investing in the right boots. It isn't just buying gear. It's truly an investment in your well-being, your safety, and ultimately your ability to earn a living comfortably and without injury.
Something to mull over. And hey, for more information on great work boots like the ones we discussed and other essential safety supplies for winter and all year round, you can visit swsafetysupply.ca. Now, for a provocative thought to leave you with today, as you consider maybe which boot is the perfect one for your winter work, think about this. While getting superior footwear is absolutely critical, we've established that, what other maybe often overlooked elements of your gear, your head-to-toe gear, or even just your daily habits, what else could also dramatically enhance your safety and comfort in a really brutal outdoor winter work environment? You know, is it a specific type of high-performance glove? Is it a smarter layering strategy for your clothing? Or perhaps it's even something less obvious, like improving your hydration or nutrition to help your body cope with the cold.